What's going on, everyone? Today's video, like normal, brought to you by Atlas Gunworks because we're going to talk about hot holstering pistols. Specifically, in this case, double stack 1911 or any pistol that has a manual safety. Now, hot holstering is basically the act of putting away a loaded pistol really fast. So some stages and some matches, there might be a tactical advantage to putting a loaded pistol away. Maybe the dump box is in a very inconvenient location. You can save yourself some time. Maybe it's something like at 3-Gun Nationals where we dumped a shotgun, drew the pistol, shot a couple targets, put this thing away, drew the rifle, and then reused the pistol later in the stage. Whatever the case may be, occasionally it's worth it. A match is never going to force you to hot holster, but it's a nice thing to have in the toolbox just in case you need it. Now, basically what hot holstering looks like is you're shooting your way through the stage, go on safe, put it away, go back to your other firearm. That's pretty much the whole thing. So very simple. It does have a risk. You can shoot yourself in the leg if you mess this up. So you super don't want to mess this up. You want to have practiced this in dry fire, be very consistent at it before you take this to a match. Now, what I'm doing here is as I'm shooting the gun, shoot, I'm just going to break my grip. I'm going to bring the gun on safe while it's still level. I don't want to bring it down where it's pointing at my leg and then put that thing on safe. And I also want to get my finger out of the trigger guard, well up onto the side of the gun, well before I get down towards my leg. So from here, I'm going to go on safe. I'm going to break my grip. My finger's outside the trigger guard, and I'm looking at the holster. I don't ever want to do that, right? I'm not doing this thing blind. I'm looking my gun into the holster. I do not want to mess this up. So I'm shoot, go on safe, look it into the holster. I can feel the positive click of the retention holster capturing the gun. This one works by clipping around the front of the trigger guard, but I can feel that thing happen. If I have a holster where I can't feel that thing happen, I'll even go in and give it a little tug just to make sure that thing is in there because I don't want to lose it later on. Then, and only then, am I going to go to whatever gun I'm transitioning to, right? This isn't something where I'm multitasking and I'm like watching this while I'm watching this thing in there. No. Screw all of that. I am putting my pistol away. Then I'm going to my rifle. Now, a couple little notes about gear on this. Retention holster, mandatory for 3-gun, period, full stop. Shoot a retention holster if you're shooting 3-gun. I have one that I had made with a GLS mechanism on it, so I can just put the gun away and it captures the gun, and then when I'm drawing, I grip it and it comes out. If you have a retention holster with a hood on it, like some military and law enforcement style holsters have, you want to flip that hood up after you put this thing away. So it's going to be put it away, flip the hood, then you're going to go to whatever your gun you're going to after that. The second thing that you want is very positive detents in your safety. So this guy has a very positive detent safety. It clicks into place very nice and robust. A large paddle on the left side I think is kind of nice for this. It just is easier to hit that. And when I'm holstering the gun, I am flipping this onto safe and I'm actually leaving my thumb underneath the safety pushing up as I put my gun away. So from this angle, thumb underneath the safety, my finger's up here. I got to get this finger out of the way once this thing starts into the holster because of this retention mechanism. Every retention mechanism has a downside. This is the downside of this one. So I'm going to go like this, put it away. I know that thing's nice and clicked into place and I'm good to go. So, quick recap. Don't do this unless you're positive you can do it safely. If you are going to do it safe enough. I've done this in a whole bunch of matches. You can go back and look at all my video. You will never, ever see me just blindly putting away my pistol. I am watching it in, my finger's outside the trigger guard. I'm doing it fast, but I'm doing it safely. This is not something where you try to gain a bunch of time. The active hot holstering in the context of your stage should already be the thing that's gaining you time. An extra 1/10 of a second is not worth shooting yourself in the leg. If you don't know how to do this, don't do it. Don't do this in a match until you're dialed. Are we clear on that? You sure? Okay. Don't do this in a match until you've done a bunch of dry fire. Now, when you are practicing in dry fire, because you want your safety to work, you don't want to shoot your way through dry fire and deactivate your safety, right? Once you drop the hammer, your safety doesn't work anymore. which means that you don't get that positive click. So when you're training to do this, you know, point at targets, do all of your stuff, but don't pull the trigger. That way you still have a nice manual tactile feel. You feel what that feels like when you're putting the gun away. That's it. If you guys have any questions, leave them up in the comments. I'll get them answered. See ya.